I'm Matt, this is Flat Tire Garage, and on this episode, we tell you why, yes, we would paint our car again with Mako. So here's what I'm thinking. Overall, we've been very pleased with the paint job that we got. We needed a car painted. I've been working on it for 2 years. I was getting ready to deploy. I was moving with my wife and daughter, Kylie, to Fort Hood, Texas, and the car was in pieces. We had talked to the local paint shop. We were going to get paint, priced it. It was going to be close to 800 to $1,000. The old timers that I talked to were like, "Hey Matt, you're never going to be able to paint this silver. Uh, you're going to get these things called tiger stripe," and I didn't feel confident. I talked myself out of it. So I had done all the blocking and primer paperwork or body work myself, had it straight. Happened to see a commercial for what was the presidential paint special at Mako. I took them some pictures, got an estimate that it'll show here at the end, and overall we've been very pleased with it. What I've done is I've captured 8 things on the car that people, they don't nitpick, but they're quick to point out when things do go wrong. Half are from the Mako paint job, the other half are from my own 16 and a half years, almost 17 years of driving the car. We've been on 2 power tours, we've been to Daytona twice, we've been to Biloxi, we've broken down, we've succeeded, but here's where we stand. It's almost 17 years later, and I'm going to highlight the 8 things that could have gone better, will go better, and at the end of the day, when I fix all these little things, I'm taking it back to Mako, and I've reached out to Mako here, so by the end of this video, you're going to see what Mako would charge me today to do exactly what they did for me 17 years ago, and you can do your own comparison. But yes, absolutely, I would take it back to Mako. So here's the first error. It's a single stage paint. Disregard the hood. That's rattle can. There's tornado damage that I'll talk about. This is a single stage from Mako. It's a PS2 paint code, which I saw on a Dodge Charger back in 2009. Yeah, man, 2007. And I wanted that color on the car. So this is a PS2. It's a Dodge Chrysler color. I took it to Mako without the front clip on it. They took the front clip, the front fender, and they had fender stands with a prong and a prong, hard plastic, and they damaged the fender here and here. When I got it back home from paint, I noticed a dippling there and there. I took it back to the manager, he took me into the paint room. We looked at the fender stands and he confirmed that was what happened. So this side got redone, and I think they added a clear coat. There is a definite color difference between the clear coat on this fender and the door and the quarters as you look here. It is glossy, and it is the best part of the car, that front driver's side fender. This side didn't have that damage, so I took back just that driver's side fender. So that's the first thing that I took issue with as I went back. Second thing, I noticed it immediately, and part of the reason why I didn't paint it, there are 2 itty bitty fish eyes, I think is what they call them in the industry. And I maybe could have buffed them out, but I put a little paint dab pen that I gotten at O'Reilly's. No one ever notices them. We just kind of let it ride. And then over here, we have, I think, for the painters in the group, I think that's dust or dirt, debris. But on the whole car, that is the only bit of issue coming from the paint shop itself. PS2, heavy metallic, single stage paint, super pleased. All right, things that I screwed up. When I started building the car, I was working with an old timer, and he recommended that I put on what was a paint rust converter. And I'm trying to get you an angle. If you can see, this whole roof is rippling the paint that I did, that rust converter from underneath, and you can see the brush. You can see the brush strokes. It's either rusting from underneath, 100 times my fault. I did that on the roof, and I did it. It's me. So no one else realizes it until you really start looking. So that's my fault. Okay. Um, let's go. We had some tornado damage. So I'll insert a picture. I was in Afghanistan. We had the car underneath the carport, and the carport legs took the carport away. Legs bounced off this, damaged the other hood. This is a rattle can PS2 stuff I'd bought. You can buy it from Advanced or O'Reilly's. That's rattle can, no clear coat, just in order to buy us some time, because I'm going to get the original SS hood, or original SS hood, fixed. So a little bit of damage there. This is tornado dent. That's tornado dent, and that's tornado dent. But I'm trying to get you a good angle where you can see the entire roof needs to get stripped down back to bare metal, get rid of all of this material that I had put on there. I hope it's not rust, but it's starting to come up. So we're gonna get that fixed. Not a problem. I replaced the quarters, and the quarters where I did what was the metal filler, first time doing body work, I went heavy on the metal filler, and it has cracked on both sides, if you can see that. But look how beautiful that paint is. Look how pretty those metallics are. But this is me. This is my, I'm gonna guess there's a 1/2 inch of body filler in there. So I've watched where they actually put a little metal piece in. I'm gonna do this one. This one's held up pretty good. That one, I can't even see the crack. So this side is good. I did that other side. I replaced the quarters. If I would have taken my time a little bit more, so I'm nitpicking myself. This isn't Mako. This aftermarket quarter that took me, I've hammered it in because it was hitting the door. It would have taken me 5 minutes to cut that out, weld it before it got painted. So that is on me. Okay. What the Mako paint job and paying what I paid for it has allowed me to do is make mistakes. The first time putting a hood on, the door down here, this is my failed patch panel attempt. That rusted through that within 6 months. That's not Mako's fault. That's me. So I pulled blue paint off. I was trying to be super safe when we had just got it back from the paint shop. I put that blue painter's tape on. I pulled the paint off. That's not Mako. That's me. I should have let it sit in the sun and get hard. These are my little seatbelt gets left in the door. If you see my little paint chips, but I don't lose sleep. I have the keys. This scratch mark right here. I got 2 boys. Andrew put a box on the trunk lid, pulled it, scratched it, started crying. I don't care. This is me. I put my keys in to turn and open the trunk. I scratched that. So what allowing a Mako paint job for me has allowed me to make mistakes on the car, and I don't have $20,000 invested in it. Would I paint it again? Absolutely. I'm not so sure that I'm not going to take the convertible to Mako. I do have more questions now that I'm more experienced. Will Mako use my paint? I'm using all Eastwood products. I'm using Eastwood 2K primer. I'm using Eastwood Byron Blue Metallic for the doors, the jambs, the trunk lid inside. Will Mako spray if I purchase the paint? So we're gonna get more questions to them and get some answers, and we'll keep walking around the car. Now that we've showed the receipt for $785, under $800 to get this car painted, here's some of the additional expenses that I had. We painted this black between the taillight assembly, so I've redone that once already since we've had it. The guy was pretty cool afterwards. He's like, hey man, this is too easy to go to AutoZone and pick up the Duplicolor color. He gave me the paint code that they actually use. That's a single stage enamel paint. And then we paid $100 for the doors and the jambs and to get this, the dash silver. So there's what the PS2 silver dash includes. Really the glove box down low, and then that piece over there on the driver's side. Not much, but that was an additional add-on from the original deal. But then the jams were not part of the original estimate. So passenger side, we'll walk over to the driver's side. Car was in all primer, and that's the driver's side jam. As we close out this video, I thought I would highlight that even though it only cost me $800 for the paint, I love it, and we take care of it. We park it inside the garage, and park next to our friends that, you know, pay significantly more for a paint job. And this isn't a jab at anybody. And honestly, if I probably didn't have as many cars as I do hulls and carcasses in the backyard, maybe I could afford to have one car with a, I don't even know what they cost, $10,000, $50,000, $25,000 paint job. But this was built and painted at a time when I was a new dad and had a deployment to Iraq, another deployment to Afghanistan, and spent 6 months in Honduras, and then the countless times at JRTC, NTC, the prep, the time away from home. So what this has given us is I hate to be cheesy, but it's a chariot to car shows and fun places, and my family absolutely loves it. So what it's going to be about a 15-minute video is not intended to jab at folks that do professional paint for a living. It's not a pro Mako. I'm not sponsored by Mako, but I'm already getting the comments that, hey, they'll paint your shit box, insert the beep, for you. I needed a car painted that would last me, has now lasted 17 years. Am I going to redo it? Yeah, there's things that I didn't make perfect on it. But I did tell you I was going to reach out to the Mako here in Columbus. So he wanted me to remind everybody that each Mako is individually franchised, individually owned. And even since I had this car painted, it was under new ownership and they've moved to a new location. He looked at my receipt from April of 2009. He's like, man, you got a good deal. And I acknowledged, and I said, if you could give me an apples to apples comparison then versus today, what would it cost me if I was a young kid that brought you a completely primered bodywork car? And of course his first answer was, we don't like to do that. I know that. That's not where their money is. But I said, put all that aside. If I was a guy that didn't have a garage, and I didn't have a paint booth, and I don't have a buddy that can paint it in his garage, what could a guy bring to you that you could put a paint job like this on it? And he said, in the $1,250 to $1,500 paint range. So almost double what I paid for it 17 years ago. And I still don't think that's a bad deal. I did a quick Amazon Google search. Right now, there is a paint kit for $400 that includes the base coat with the reducer, and it includes the clear coat, a wet gloss clear coat. That's great if you have a shop or a garage or a place that you can paint it. Not all of us do. I've spent 6 months in El Paso renting their self-help bay at almost $7-8 an hour. I'm dropping $80 on a weekend just working on a booth. So not everybody's circumstances are the same. So thank you to Mako in Columbus, Georgia 17 years ago. Thank you to them now for taking my call. I don't work for Mako. I love to drive cars and get things running and driving. I love when my boys come over here and help me clean this. They see past all the nicks, the hood fitment. They see past all that. What I want maybe from this video is to reach out to some 20-year-old kid that doesn't want a truck and maybe want some pretty paint on it. Mako will give you what you pay for, and you won't be disappointed. So I am not disappointed. I will read all the comments, good and bad, to folks like Marcia who give positive encouragement. I will continue to highlight you on all of our videos. To James and Caroline, whose thumbs ups and text messages go a long way. This isn't even about the subscribes because we have such a long way to go before I can do this even seriously. But right now it gives us a ton of purpose. It gives me and the boys a list. Last night we started working on Frenchie's headlight and realized that the hardware up front is bad. So tomorrow we are going to go to what is our favorite swap meet, Moultrie, Georgia. Their fall swap meet starts tomorrow. And the boys and I are going to make the 3-hour jaunt in the morning, and we're going to love every minute of what we do working on cars. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. We tried to keep it a little bit shorter. This is my 1969 Chevelle, Isabel, the silver Chevelle, with a $785 Mako paint job from 17 years ago. Thank you. Keep watching. Be sure to subscribe and keep grinding.